So days 47 to 49 were spent in Glacier National Park. But before I talk about the park, I want to say a couple of words about the place where I boondocked in around it. It's on the national land, BLM land or national forest, so you can camp there for free as long as it's under 14 days in a row. And the place was full of other boondockers, people in minivans and cars and tents. And a guy camping next to me was on a bicycle because he was practicing for biking through South America. And when I told him that I just came through Beartooth Mountains and I saw a guy coming down on the skateboard, he was like, "Oh, that's my buddy James. He told me he was gonna do it, so good for him." And it was actually very funny because the spot right by the river was taken up by a couple of these $100,000 perfectly decked out Mercedes Sprinter vans with young Instagram influencers who were every night discussing by the campfire their Instagram channels and who else can they get to sponsor them. And one night, one of them turned 26 and she was bitching the whole night about how she's so old and it's like the end of her life. And I'm sitting there being 20 years older than her, cracking up because, oh man, you're so stupid, you don't know nothing. But we had our own camaraderie of riffraff, let's put it this way, with all kinds of very interesting people. And I'm just very happy that I found that spot and I was able to stay there. And in the spirit of van lifing and road tripping paid forward, I told my Jerusalem neighbor that I met in Jackson about it because he was on a road trip with his army friend. And a couple of days after me, they got there as well and sent me the picture of this amazing sunset. I started day 47 trying to get into the park from the western Epgar entrance to drive going to the Sun Road. And I was turned away because the park was full. But I'm not the one who gives up easily, so I figured I'm gonna swing around the southern edge to the east to the Two Medicine entrance, and I'm gonna camp there for the night, and then early the next morning I'm gonna try to get into St. Mary's entrance and to drive the road going from east to west. The drive itself, everything around Glacier is just jaw-droppingly beautiful. You can't drive even a couple of miles without seeing something incredible. So I get into the Two Medicine entrance of the park and I go to the campground, which is first come, first serve, and I managed to snag one of the last spots there, and this is off season. That's the week when the campground is going to be closed for the winter altogether. And I also managed to scrounge some firewood. You can have fires in the park, but you can't pick firewood. And outside is an Indian reservation where firewood is not sold because they had a very bad fire season. But I still managed to get myself a bundle, so I was all set for the night. So after settling into the campground, I decided to make the most out of the rest of the day. And I did a couple of short hikes. The first one was to something called Paradise Point. You walk through this beautiful, beautiful forest and you come out on the shores of Two Medicine Lake. And it's a glacial lake, so the water is this beautiful, very, very special blue-green color. And the views of the mountains in the background, it was just very, very nice. And walking back, I saw this pile of droppings and it looked like something pretty big left it, so I was very happy I did not get to meet the forest inhabitant that left them behind. And then I did another hike to something called Running Eagle Falls. Local legend says that Running Eagle took over leadership of her family and her tribe after her father, the local Indian chief, was killed. And she was known for leading many military campaigns and being wise and strong and kind until she was killed in a skirmish with a neighboring tribe. And the waterfall is not that tall, but it looks like it's coming out straight from the cliff. So that was wow. Going back from Running Eagle Falls, I saw this cutest bird either looking for insects in the water or taking a bath. And then I made my way back to the campground, which is also on the shores of Two Medicine Lake with beautiful views. And I had myself a very nice campfire and went to sleep early with the full intention of beating the crowds in the morning. So even though this day did not go as planned, it still, in my opinion, worked out perfectly.